This is our fourth annual Mustard Seed Project Collaborative. Our theme this year is eviction prediction due to the circumstances of society at the moment. We're going to start off with some opening words from Mr. Martin himself. So I'm going to go ahead and let him share his screen and we'll get going.
All right. Hello, everybody. Pleasure to be with y'all on this Saturday morning. All right. So I'm going to go and share my screen and get started. Is everybody able to hear me? Yeah. All righty, team. So my name is Martin Arce. I'm the project developer for Mustard Seed Project. I've been with the project for about 5 years now, and I feel like I look exactly the same. I'm not too sure. Same haircut, same shirt. But I've been with the project for 5 years, right when it started with UC Riverside, and this was our first ever board. So this was Camille, Rutum, Kiana, Allison, Casey, Aaron, and Maria. So just like many of you when you were starting your organization, we were finding times to meet over the summer. We were trying to figure out what we're going to do for the school year, right? And we served our community. So if you're from Riverside, this might feel very familiar to you. This is Gumbo. So every single week we worked in a commercial kitchen making warm meals to hand out for people who were experiencing homelessness. And then we had a reading program at the Path of Life Family Shelter. And just like you, what's very important about Mustard Seed Project is that it's very grassroots. So we would have meetings where we would talk to other people, asking people to join our organization, educating people about homelessness. And I remember one meeting, this is JP, this was the very first homeless outreach chair. And he said that on Tuesdays nights, he would usually be playing video games, but now he spends a lot of his Tuesday nights at Gumbo, being present with people who are experiencing homelessness. And he was encouraging other people to do the same. And so the pandemic changed a lot of things. We can't do all those things quite anymore. I remember when the pandemic was first starting, our leadership team met and we decided that it was safe to just shut down all our operations. And I remember talking to Cecily, who was the president at SDSU at the time, and saying, you know what, don't even worry about Mustard Seed Project stuff at all right now. Focus on yourself, focus on what's happening. And then literally the next day, they told the students to evacuate within 48 hours. And so it was pretty scary time for a lot of people, and we weren't really sure what we were gonna do at that time. We were doing the project 2 to 3 years in, and we weren't sure if we were gonna operate. And so the thing we did was we Zoomed. So we did a lot of Zoom. So this was right into it. Everyone was staying at home. We all look wonderful. And we Zoomed. And we Zoomed. And we Zoomed. And although we were not able to be together physically, we found a way to still be together. I think the pandemic was very hard on a lot of people who were staying at home. And so this was a really good opportunity for us to be together. We kept our project going. Virtually, we held workshops. So we held 3 workshops, and I think there's more. You can find them on YouTube: barriers to access, homelessness and women, race and homelessness. We introduced 2 new chapters, UC Irvine and UC Santa Barbara. And then we introduced our first chapter out of California, our friends in the Pacific Northwest, University of Oregon. And despite being virtual, we still had recruitment, we still had info nights, we still found ways to serve, we fundraised, and we kept our services going. And of course, we remembered about the importance of little acts of kindness during the holidays. We maintained our tradition of making care packages for people who were experiencing homelessness. So this is Kwok, and this is Shane. And we had members write in letters. So this is one letter. This is from Canwin. And he said, "To the amazing individual who's reading this letter, I do not know you, the struggles you have faced, or the story behind all those obstacles. However, what I do know is that you are here today because of your dedication and immense willpower. And with that, you are an inspiration and crucial part of society." And I do want to play this video from Hannah. This was her closing words that she gave at the end of VSN that I think encompasses of what we all do and what we believe.
You know, me and Julia and your case coordinators are all going to be constantly reminding y'all that as long as you're doing everything you
We can't hear it when you mute yourself, Morton.
and the work we do is impactful, even if it is small kind of work, right? So I just want to remind you guys that you're a part of something really special, and the work we do is impactful, even if it is small. And that's the main thing. You know, as long as you can touch just one life and help one person, that makes this work worth it, right? You don't have to do some huge big change to make this work worth it. If you just connected one person to a food resource, you connect one person to the GED program that they want to do, that's amazing. Yes, like Julia is saying, celebrate every little victory, because as long as it's, you know, something that assists your client and that helps them and makes them happy, that's huge.
And so that is really the formation of a lot of what we believe in this organization. One of the things that I like to say is if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And what was amazing is that when we all went together, we were able to do an amazing thing. So just for context, in San Diego during the stay-at-home orders, they asked everybody to stay at home. But obviously, if you're experiencing homelessness, you can't quite do that. And so for the first time in its history, San Diego had this large operation to use the convention center as a shelter, where they allowed people to stay there, get case management services, get screened for COVID every day or every other day. And at its peak, it had around 1,200 individuals that were staying there. So I'm going to play this clip of our campaign.
Well, city officials have said roughly half the people being housed at the San Diego Convention Center would be moving out this week in preparation for it to close as a shelter at the end of this month. However, not everyone agrees with that plan. ABC 10 News anchor Mary McKenzie has the latest effort to try to keep the convention center open as a shelter for the homeless.
Previously, what might take months for a client to achieve can be achieved in just a few days at the convention center.
The Mustard Seed Project is a grassroots student-led organization connecting unsheltered individuals with services. They launched a campaign to keep the shelter-to-home operation at the convention center going beyond the deadline of December 31st. Today, organizers referenced a petition that has nearly 2,500 signatures to keep the shelter open until the county is in the yellow tier for 5 weeks. They cite successes they've had with streamlining and centralizing services. The city said more than 1,100 people have found long-term or permanent housing through the program, but there was a reported outbreak over the weekend with more than 50 cases there. Extending the date to close it appears to have support from the incoming mayor. Todd Gloria tweeted last week saying that he has directed staff to develop funding options to continue operations. The expense of keeping the shelter running is perhaps the biggest objection. At more than $5.5 million per month, Gloria has yet to say more about how the city might pay for another extension. One of the people staying there, who asked to remain anonymous, said he hopes the city will find the money to continue it.
It's a safe place. It's a clean place. They provide you meals. You wash your clothes. I don't see any other better programs that have done that. So I would highly recommend that they keep the convention center open for this reason, to help people out, the people that are less fortunate than others.
Mary McKenzie, ABC 10 News.
Okay. And so, let's see if I can get out of this.
Well, city officials.
There we go. And they they found the money. Okay, so in March, there was an article written. SD City Council voted to fund the San Diego Convention Shelter through March, and our petition had a little under 130,000 signatures. Okay? And so that was something that was important. I still work in homeless services in San Diego. You know, this allowed for a lot of people who were unsheltered to get access to the vaccine, and a lot of people to continue getting access to case management services. And for a lot of people, they were able to receive vouchers. So I think this was also the first time in the city, but they allowed 700 vouchers to be accessed by people at the convention center. And so this was something that was definitely a huge success for our efforts. Okay, so what happened next? Well, again, for the first time, what happened was we developed a leadership team that was based on alumni. So people who graduated from college saying that they want to continue our mission and they want to do it in a mentoring and leadership capacity. So we developed a leadership team, and over the summer, we've been brainstorming ways to increase our project's impact, improve VSN services, and keep what we do going. And so moving to the future, there's definitely a lot that we're looking to do. We're looking to restart in-person outreach. We're looking to just serve more people. Just as Hannah said, it's incredible, in the video clip, it's incredible what we do, being able to work with individuals one-on-one to be able to connect people to services and programs. So we're looking to get more people into VSN, looking to start more chapters at other universities. This is going to take a lot. And just the last thing I want to say is, I've been in the project for about 5 years, and there's other people who have been around for quite some time as well. And so I've been able to see a lot of people go through and, dedicate a lot of time. And really, this organization is what it is because of everyone here. It's from being able to recruit volunteers, being able to serve individuals, and contributing your ideas to make what we do strong. And so really, everything here is because we're all able to work together. And I just want to give this one last quote to kick us off, but never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Okay? So there's a lot of people here who care about this project. If you feel like you have any questions, please reach out to us. We want to help. We want to work together. If you're a new chapter starting your organization, talk to us. We know what it's like to organize an event and be scared of people showing up, or to do your first training and have to do public speaking, but being a little scared of it. We want to help out, and we're on this together. So I appreciate everyone being here and listening to me, and I'm excited for the rest of the collaborative.
Big round of applause to Martin. He does so much constantly, just constantly. Let me grab my screen. So with that being said, let's get our conference up or the collaborative up and rolling. We're going to start out with a fun little icebreaker. So we're going to split up into some breakout rooms. So when you see that breakout room invite, please click accept. Basically, when you're there, you're going to either participate in a room scavenger hunt or a phone scavenger hunt, which is going to be picked, whether or not you do option 1 or 2 is going to be picked by your breakout room leader. But basically, you're just going to find something either in your living space, if it's a room scavenger hunt that you think describes you, or if it's on a phone, you'd find a photo of something that falls along the topic that your discussion leader has decided on. With that being said, I think we're ready. Oh, do we have any questions about these icebreakers before we get going? No. All right. With that being said, we'll see you all in a second. Okay, yeah, I think we're waiting on one more breakout room, right?
I think they should all be back.
Oh, everyone's back?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so one moment, please. We have finished our icebreaker, and now we are going to talk about something I hope you all had a good time in your breakout rooms. I know my breakout room was awesome. But we're gonna go ahead and welcome our very first guest speaker, Antonio Smith. He is a case manager for Family Health Services, and we are so incredibly grateful to have him here with us today. Antonio, would you like to share your screen, or how would you like to go about this?
No, I'm not gonna bring no. Yeah, I'm just gonna speak. I don't need no props.
Sounds perfect. Then
All right.
why don't you take it away?
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me here. I appreciate it. As she mentioned, my name is Antonio Smith. I'm a case manager, community health worker with a family health center in San Diego. I work primarily with individuals coming out of incarceration. However, I also work a lot with, excuse me, with individuals who are homeless. And I spend a lot of time down in the homeless encampments, parks. I meet clients where they are. That's my job. That's my passion. You know, you say it's a passion for me. I believe that we're all redeemable, regardless of our past. You know, and for most people, especially those who are homeless right now, a lot of them aren't so much drug addicts or alcoholics. They just fell on hard times, and so they're out there, you know, and they just need assistance. They need help. They need some guidance. And I found for myself working with this population is that the motivational interviewing techniques work the best. Having active listening skills and picking out the nuggets as they speak to you, just picking out nuggets and seeing how you can assist them in meeting their goals and their expectations. I tell all my clients, I tell them, look, I'll give you the benefit of belief as opposed to the benefit of doubt. You know, it's important that we allow people to feel good about themselves in spite of the environment. So, and when you get that positive feedback, it returns to you. You know, it's establishing a great rapport with the client, and then the client can have that trust and will go along with some of the suggestions you may make as far as completing some tasks. And this pandemic this last year has been, we talked about it in the breakout room, has been really traumatic for a lot of individuals, not just the homeless, for everybody involved. I don't know how I did it and stayed safe and not contract COVID-19 until I went on vacation, but I somehow managed to escape it during this height in 2020. But I took care of all the PPEs, goggles, masks, and although it was difficult trying to communicate and trying to hear them communicate back to me, we kept them on. We stayed safe around each other. But it's been a tough year, and I still go out and I still meet clients. I think it's important to have that one-on-one. As I've spoken in the breakout room, I'm zoomed out pretty much. It's like I'm done with it. But I still do it, because it's part of the landscape today. So in talking about the homeless and dealing and working with them, I think it's very important that we understand that we have to have empathy first and foremost in order to understand their plights. Not so much that we have to have sympathy, but empathy. It's a huge difference between the two. But with empathy, you can understand that plight. You can kind of like put yourself in their shoes for that moment in time and have that discussion with them and understand that when they saying things that may not resonate with you per se, or they talking some kind of way that doesn't maybe make sense to you, that you still had understanding, okay, they coming from a place of hurt, and they need some assistance, you know what I mean? And so when you understand that aspect of it, you'll be able to perform your job. I also want to talk about that we need to, I hope we can all take an active part in this discussion as far as elevating individuals who are homeless. I mean, I think we all have to come together on this. It's not one person can't solve this problem. And I don't think the problem would ever be solved per se, because we have people out homelessness that want to stay homeless, and not satisfied, not content with being constrained in a home type setting. So, but if we all participate, if we all just come together and say, hey, let's do something for the community, let's do something for society. And when you do that, you feel great about what you're doing. I mean, you get some benefits from it as well. It's not like you just giving all of yourself, but you get something back in return. So if we can all just come together and say, okay, this is what we want to do. I look at the hurricane back in New Orleans. I see all the people that came out to assist those individuals. You know, nobody asked them to. They didn't have to. They didn't have to put their life on the line, getting the boats and going down there and helping these individuals. They went out there because of compassion and empathy. You know, and they want to help their neighbors. And we need to have that same philosophy here in San Diego or wherever you might be located at. You know, where we got homeless individuals residing. I was passing by the freeway the other day and I seen on 163 and I seen a tent, and this tent, and it really resonated. And this tent had a white picket fence in front of it. You know, and I mean, I looked at that and it was like, okay, here's an individual who's living in this tent, you know what I mean, out here in the elements who still have some sense of home, you know, and he put a white picket fence right in front of his tent. I mean, it was like, okay, I got that. So I'm going to make it a point sometime next week to stop by there and just go on the other side of the freeway and go and say something to this individual. And I don't know if it was the family or it was just 1 or 2 persons in there, but it really just, it brought something to me that, okay, this person is going to make this home some kind of way. Like I said, participating for all of us and having the empathy to work with this population and the patience, you know. And I tell a lot of clients the same thing. You have to have some patience because things doesn't happen in the time that you want it to happen. It happens in the time that it's going to happen. And if we work together, I do my 20, you do your 80, we can get you where you're trying to get to. It's just that simple. But it's about both of us working as cohesively and trying to get you to where you want to get to. So before I go on, I'm running out of time, but I just want to give you guys a background of who I am. Martin and I worked together at one point. He knows my background very well, and I wanted to share it with you guys so you have a frame of reference of who I am and why I feel so passionate about what I do. Approximately 38 years ago, I committed a crime and I was sentenced to prison for life. 8 years ago, I was released. So I did a total of 30 years in prison. And during that time in prison, I worked in what they call the enhanced outpatient program with I don't call it criminally insane, just disability disadvantage, you know, and I work with that specific population inside and I assist them with all the time. I develop exercise programs, I did groups with them. And it was just a rewarding job for me to do inside. As that was part of my payback for my commitment offenses. And I don't think I can ever pay it back. I owe $1 billion and I'll make it minimum wage. It's not going to happen. But that's who I am. And so I developed that emotion, that empathy, that need to assist, you know, and to make a change, make a legitimate difference in the world and in other people's lives if I can help, you know. And so that's who I am. And I appreciate the time you guys give me here today to speak with you. And I hope something I said resonated enough that you want to get out, you want to be a part of this coalition to eradicate homelessness, you know, and help these individuals become more society intact, you know, and rather than living in the streets. And it's tough out there. I got to tell you, a lot of my clients, they lose phones all the time. They get robbed, you know what I mean? They get physically assaulted. I mean, it's not an easy life to live. Not only if you can imagine yourself being homeless at some point and thinking that, you know, you sleeping wherever you can, you know. It's a tough life, man. And I think we have that empathy. I keep harping on that because it's important to have that. And so you don't have the burnout, you don't get frustrated by what you're trying to do. And if a client is not doing what he or she said they're going to do, you have to have the patience. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, it might prevent them from getting down to the DMV to get their ID or getting down to getting a phone. Something else might have happened. They might have got sidetracked. You have to have the patience. Okay, they didn't do it. Well, listen, maybe I'll come down tomorrow and we walk down the street together. Or we go to DMV together. You know, and you have to put your pride aside. You know, because you got to always remember this is for the client. This isn't for you, and this is the client's plan. You need to remember that as well. You can't tell a client what to do. You know, you sit down and you can plan with the client, and the client is going to ultimately decide this is the direction I need to go in, this direction I want to go in, and you just assist. That's all you there for, to assist. Do the best you can to make good connections with other community-based organizations, medical. Social Security, you know, you want to find resources for them. You want to be able to And you want to have direct resources. You don't want to give them a phone and tell them, okay, call, and then they don't know who to talk to and they don't know how to get that done. So you want to give them somebody they can actually have contact with so they can feel, you know what I mean, that they got something going on. They can actually get this thing done for themselves. So you want to build self-sufficiency, confidence. And it's just a matter of having the time and the patience, man, and working with these populations. Because not everyone who's out there homeless is a drug addict or alcoholic or a criminal. You know, let's get that concept out of the way. Don't go in there preconceiving that this person is this or that person is that, because it might cloud your ability to do your job. You know, and volunteering, I still volunteer. I have no problem with that. I mean, you think that I want to take some time off on the weekend, but yeah, you know, I just have it in me. You know, I'm not saying everybody has this, but I have it in me. I need to be out there. I need to talk to people. You know, I'm gonna talk with a person. I grew up in a large family, and I do talk fast. I know you guys can see that right now. But in my family, if you didn't speak up, well, you know, cancel Christmas. You might not have got something. So just bear with me. Like I say, y'all talk real fast. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. You know, I'm totally honest. I have no hidden agenda. I have no hidden history. I'm candid. I'm open, and so just, you know, come on with it. I'm here for you. You know, if I can assist you in any other way, I'm going to give my information. Contact me, and we can push forward and get things done collectively. All right. All right. Any questions?
Everyone, please feel free to ask questions. I know he's already said it, but like, I just want you all to know, like, ask questions. This is someone that you really want to be able to ask questions to.
So Antonio, I have two quick questions. So first one, I've been working with clients, but I haven't really been seeing what's going on with the city. Is there any extra support that you think is happening from the city that is helping clients, or what do you think is going on right now, especially with the pandemic, to help folks who are homeless?
The city just, like I think you mentioned earlier, they had issued some new vouchers out. I think it was like 600 so far. So, and if the client is on the has a case manager that has access to this particular site, then they can put them up for one of the vouchers. And they've been pretty good at delivering the vouchers. They've been, actually, a lot of clients have actually been using these vouchers. You know, Section 8 is a whole new beast. You forget about that as far as housing. I know that they are building a lot of new housing here in San Diego. Affordable housing, they call it. Yeah, so don't hold your head up too high on that one, because the contractors, they have built a building, and they 10% of that building to be for affordable housing. So yeah, it's rough. And housing for me is not shelter. You can't put somebody in a shelter and call that housing. It just doesn't exist. You know, you need to get them in something permanent, something that they can afford. You know what I mean? Or with help or without help, something they can have and they can call it on. But in order for housing, I got to say this because some of these clients have mental illnesses, you know, and some of them have issues with narcotics and alcohol. And so case management is very important first and foremost before you can try to address the housing situation. Because last thing you want to do, especially if you're using some of these other housing managers, they don't want nobody in there that's going to be disruptive to the rest of the residents. And so it's important that we vet and stay constant with our case management with the clients as they move into these housing departments and whatnot. So yeah, but hopefully with the new mayor and everything, I'm thinking we're gonna have some more leeway with housing soon. But I have guys and girls coming out of prison that are homeless. I mean, they go straight to homeless. They have no place else to go. They can't go back to their families, or they lost their families. They've been gone so long. And so, and I say, I find them, I have them at parks, downtown. Yeah, I do a lot of traveling with my clients. So hopefully housing is something that this new mayor has been talking about for the homeless, you know what I mean, and those who are home, you know, that need help or assistance with paying their rent. So hopefully that'll come to fruition. I'm hopeful.
And, just another question is on my mind. So you have referred clients to us, and
Yes.
Project Volunteer Service Navigators have worked alongside with you. What has your experience been working with us? And then how do you think we can best help you in doing your job? Because you're the professional out there, you're the one working with people on the ground. So how do you think we can best support you?
Uh, I got to be honest. When we first engaged in with the one particular client down there in Chula Vista, it was I felt really honored to be able to call upon you, your organization there, and get the assistance that I needed for this particular client. I mean, that was I reached out to other community-based organizations, and they were like, "Nah, we got nothing for you. Can't do nothing with you." And you guys stepped up to the plate, man, and I was so grateful that as well as with the client. We had some success with this particular client, and I am so happy that I was able to reach out to Mustard Seed and get the assistance that this client needed, and it worked out. And I reached out I got several other clients I reached out with you guys with, and you guys never shied away. You stepped right up to the plate. So I am grateful, and I know my clients are definitely grateful. For the assistance. So, when you ask me to come here, it's like there's a no-brainer. It's like, sometimes you got to pay stuff for. You got to give it back, man. So here I am. I didn't hesitate when you said, "Hey, done deal." I was on vacation when you called me too. I was down in Cabo. I think I was at the pool. I'm not sure anyway. But yes, your organization is great, man. You guys are fantastic. And you're young. See, I'm an old man. I'm pushing 65. Yeah. So So for to sit here and have the conversation with you guys, man, I am so honored to be here. Really, I am. I had myself on the time because I didn't want to hold my time. But I am honored to be here, man, and I appreciate all the assistance you guys provide for the homeless, all the work you guys do. You guys are exceptional, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do.
And that means a lot coming from you, Antonio.
I had another question.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have a lot of people who are going to start doing outreach within the next few months who have never really done homeless outreach before. And I was wondering if you had any advice for them.
It depends on and here again, it's the areas you go into. And you don't want to go in there with any fear. You want to go in there confident, go in there as if you're really bringing something that's going to assist the client. So confidence is the most important thing you can have. Walk straight, look the client in the eye, be sincere in what you're saying. Don't just say things because you think that it's going to appease them. And people can read people, we know that, and they can read your body language, they read your vocals, how you sound, and a lot of times you find, this is not a slide on the case manager, but they don't have the dedication, they don't have the passion to do this job. And you have to have some passion. And again, I hone in on empathy because it's so important that you understand the clientele that you're working with, that you give your 20%. I'm saying 100% because you don't want to take away, you don't want to take their traumas. Because it can hurt you in the long run, and it'll affect your ability to do your job, and you get burnt out really quickly. So you want to be sincere in talking to these individuals and doing what you can. I tell people I never lie for you, and I never lie to you. I'm giving you straight up. That's how I operate. And so when you go out for the outreach, just be real. Just be real. I'm here to push you forward. And not hold you back. And what can I do to assist you in making that move forward? It's really simple. I think, especially it depends on whatever you're going. You go in some of these areas where you find drugs and violence. You still have to go in there confident. I'm okay. I can do this because you go in there with a purpose. So just be confident. Just go in there and show that you belong. This is not just their space. This is your space too. You're trying to assist them move from this space to a better space.
I also have a question.
Mhm.
So you've talked so much about empathy and autonomy, and I was just wondering, what is one way that you found is effective towards empowering your clients?
Listening. Believe it or not, listening. Because the loudest sound is complete silence. And everyone, we need to interact with each other. We need to have, that's what I say about the kids that missed school all last year. They missed that interaction. nobody to talk to, maybe the brother, the mom and dad, but I mean, they get old after a while. You know these people, but the people at school, and this is like us. We go out there in the streets, we talking, we're different. It's not the people that around them that's had living in the same environment, have the same issues, the same problem. Now they're talking to somebody different. And the truth will come out. It always come out. Once you establish that rapport, it just pour out like water, man. They want to get it out their head because they've been having it sitting there for so long, and they can't talk to the people they're around because they don't want to see so far different or unique. I'm like you. I'm here with you. But when they get somebody from the outside, outreach person, you're gonna get an earful, and by listening, you're taking out those nuggets that you can bring back to the client. Okay, well, what I heard was this. What I believe you said was this, and then from there you can work with them. You can find out how to assist them best. And that's what I'm talking about. You put yourself in their place for a brief moment in time.
Thank you so much. That
You're
was.
welcome.
I'm actually impressed that you're not an actual regular public speaker, because everything you've said today has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Like I said, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, wait, I think we have one more. We have another question.
Mhm.
Can you hear me? Okay. So with the pandemic going on, how did you accommodate CDC's social distancing rule, and did you encounter any complications with that?
Yes, I monitored the CDCR, which is the California Department of Correction and Rehabilitation. They had their sites up where they was monitoring the outbreak inside the prisons. So if individuals coming outside the prison, I would ask them initially what I talked to them on the phone. They would call me, ask them what prison they were from. So that gave me an indication whether or not they've been exposed or have they had COVID-19 or whatever. Even when I meet a new client out there in the elements right there at a park or something, I asked them directly before we could even come close to me, with no disrespect. Have you been around anyone who's been exposed to COVID-19? Have you been tested for COVID-19? Usually when I talk to somebody, especially at the park, we're not alone, but we're in an area where I can speak with them where it's not violating their personal space or violating their privacy when they ask the questions. And so I keep extra masks, extra goggles, a lot of hand sanitizer. Plastic glove. I keep all that in my car, my vehicle, so I can pass it on to the client while we're talking. And I had some experience with people who have had COVID-19, been exposed to it, and we set away the part, at the park bench or whatever, and we had the discussion. I did my intake at that point, but I stayed diligent in keeping my mask on, double masking, goggles, shield, the whole 9 yards. And what I do when I meet a new client, I have these we call the incentive packages, and I had all that stuff in the packages for them. So when I gave them the package, they had hygiene products, they had hand sanitizer, they had a little notebook in there, they had a phone charger in there. So I stayed. Next thing, I'm amazed that I stayed relatively COVID free during that period. I am truly amazed, and I'm going to tell you, it got to be the man upstairs who watched out for me, made sure that I continue to do the job that he called upon me to
do. Did those kind of precautions affect the type of relationships you have with your clients? Because I know for us, we had to move almost all of our operations online.
No, the program that I run for family, listen, I run that program. It's my program. I'm the only one running the program. And so my supervisor, director, and whatnot, they give me pretty much carte blanche, a lot of latitude to do what I want to do and what I need to do and what I feel is important that I do. So I have a lot of upper management support in what I do. So I didn't have no hindrance. When I say I'm going out, okay, go out, just take care of yourself. They know I'm gonna take care of myself. Because I like I say, I'm old and susceptible to COVID-19. It's like, yeah, no, I don't think I will. I seen how it worked. Yeah, I'm good. 3rd and 10 on my time. I'm gonna pass on that.
All right. Do we have any other questions? Oh, yes, we have one from Rose.
Kind of just on the topic of your 80 or 20% to 80% rule. I think as a service navigator, I'm just kind of curious as to how you, other ways that you avoid experiencing burnout.
For me, it's just, I mean, I'm so happy to do what I do. I just have a passion, and not to say that I haven't had difficult clients, because I had, but it's just, this is what I know I was made to do. And so I set boundaries for myself that I won't go over, I say I don't take nothing personal per se, and I don't had clients that curse me out, man, want to fight, and, when I defuse the situation and I tell them, hey, man, I love you, man, let's take a break away from one another for a minute, and we come back and let's reconvene this thing and see if we can move forward without having this hostility. But I just love what I do. Honestly, I do. And it's crazy. But I said, I think myself, I have a debt that I can never pay. But so I take nothing personal. I treat each client individually. I don't, one size doesn't fit all. I don't lump them together. And I don't deliver the same message to all the clients the same way. And like I say, it's not taking it personal and not taking it home. When you're dealing with a difficult client, when you clock out, you clock out. Go get you a burger. Go do something that makes you feel good. This bicycle behind me, if I'm really stressed out when I come home, go to my balcony, and me and that bike, we go at it. We have our little dance. I don't win all the time. I'm gonna tell you that, I'd be lying. The bike done won quite a few battles, but we both benefited from it. He's still here in the house.
All right, any other questions? Don't be shy. It's a great time to ask. Erica.
Hi, Antonia. Well, first of all, for coming out.
Thank you.
Lots. I know you mentioned earlier, like some various issues that kind of make it harder to get housing. I was curious to know, like, what other things might someone not really expect to cause issues getting someone into housing, because that hasn't really gone through a process, or like what barriers kind of affect that. Yeah.
For those who are coming out of incarceration specifically, for those who are already out, had formerly incarcerated, their commitment offense is one of the biggest barriers. If they have a drug offense, that's going to be a barrier. If they have 290, which is a sexual assault or a sexual rape or whatever, and that's another thing, or 280, which is arson, that's going to prohibit them from getting housing, especially housing that's nearby schools or churches and whatnot. So, I mean, it's difficult. Fortunately, there's just for temporary housing, there's a program down in El Cajon. This lady has several houses, and she's able to house individuals like that for a while. And then we got to move from there. We got to try to arrange them where they can get an apartment once they get employed and start earning an income. And for me, it's showing a client budgeting techniques, establishing credit, because all these things are important in order for you to get an apartment. You have to have at least a 650 to get an apartment. And most, so it's just taking the client and says it's an individual by individual case. And so I try to work with the client where they're at in terms of their commitment offenses, in terms of drug charges, in terms of establishing the budget, receiving employment. A couple of weeks here, I'm starting going out to some of these supermarkets and talk to some of the hiring managers, and just working with them, see if we can get some people hired, some work over there. I think right now jobs are open. I mean, they got 8 million jobs, and they got 7 million people unemployed. I don't know how that works. I'm not a mathematician, but them numbers don't sound right to me. So, and I know some people don't want to work because they're receiving all that money, that unemployment. But I think that's the end of the day. So they're going to have to go out there and do something. So yeah, housing is, like I said, it's not real big down here because it's so expensive to live in this area, especially in San Diego. Maybe Chula Vista and their homes a little bit cheaper down in that area, but here in San Diego, where I live at is ridiculously priced. It's like, man, I might want to go live in my truck or something. I don't know. It's expensive. But we're working on it. Hopefully this new mayor, he get things done, get some housing for a lot of people. I don't think we're gonna ever end homelessness, but I know clients who are just content with being homeless. I mean, that's what they want. They don't want shelter. But if we can cut these numbers down significantly and get some people housed, I think that'd be great. Get them housed, employed, and working and being self-sufficient and taking care of their health, their mental health, whatever issues they may have. Society as a whole definitely benefit from it.
Thank you so much. Like, genuinely from the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming and speaking with us today. Do we have any more questions? Anyone?
Martin, hands up.
Oh, he's clapping. He's applauding
Oh,
you.
you're applauding? Okay, I can't tell, man. The emojis and all that. All this is brand new. I can't tell one from the other. They say smiling faces, sad faces. Okay, they all the same.
Well, you're doing a great job from my standpoint. I was wondering if it was okay if we were to put your email in the group in the chat for the Zoom, so that way if anyone thinks of any questions in the future, just like wants to inquire anything about what you do and how you help serve the community, would it be okay if we put your email in the chat so they can contact you?
Please do. Please do. As you can see, I don't mind talking. I like talking. I like assisting. So yeah, please do. You're not bothering.
Thank you so much. If everyone could please give our lovely Antonio a huge round of applause, because we're so grateful to have amazing partners such as him.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mustard Seed Project. I appreciate it. You guys are fantastic. I appreciate this. Thank you. All right, I gotta go get my car at the shop. You guys have a great afternoon. Be safe, be sane. Keep it 100, you know.
Thank you.
God bless you all. Thank you. All right.
All right. How wonderful was that? I think that was pretty wonderful. So we are going to go ahead and enter a quick 5-minute break. I know you all have been sitting here, you've had a lot of talking, so please take 5 minutes, take a breather, go get some water, grab a snack, whatever it is you need to do. We will start again at around 2:11, so please try to be back at that time. Yeah, enjoy your quick break. Back, everyone. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So I hope you all had a chance to stretch your legs, get a nice little snack, whatever it was, drink of water. But welcome back. To start things off, get the energy up and going again, we're gonna have a little discussion specifically regarding what we just heard from Antonio, our lovely guest speaker. So we're gonna go ahead and divide you all up into breakout rooms. Please accept and we'll get talking. Once again, big round of applause towards Antonio. I know he's not here right now, but it's still thought that counts. I'm so grateful that he was able to come to talk, and I hope you all took something out of that as well. But let's get into the bulk of what this collaborative is. So I figure the best way to start about it is to talk about our lovely mission statement. We, as Msp Project, as I'm sure you've all heard 1,001 times, but we're about to make it 1,002. We are guided by a hand up, not hand out philosophy, right? Our goal is to connect unsheltered and low-income individuals to services and programs through grassroots organization, relationship-based outreach, and volunteer service navigation. And a huge way we do that is through amazing individuals like you all. You all embody this mission statement, and that's why you're here today. So I just want to say thank you. And I'm going to go ahead and pass off the speaking towards our lovely Kwok, who is going to talk a little bit about the renters crisis.
Didn't realize I was muted. Can anyone hear me? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to have like a brief overview of the renters crisis. So first, let's talk about rent moratorium. What it is, it prevents renters in communities with high level COVID-19 from being evicted due to unpayment of rent. The federal moratorium was established in September 2020 and was supposed to end in December 31st, 2020, with October 3rd, 2021 being the most recent extension. This doesn't mean that states have to end their rent moratorium. Currently, there are 10 states, one being California, Delaware, Hawaii, and Illinois, who have their rent moratorium. And there are also 4 states that do not have eviction moratorium, but do have utility moratorium. So these being like Washington, Oregon, Rhode Island, and Virginia. So as you can see on the screen, how would you, this is how you would qualify for a suspension of your rent. If you can qualify for like any of these boxes, then you would be good. Like, let's say like if you have if you receive a stimulus check in 2020 or 2021, that stimulus check is from the federal government allocation of $46 billion. If you were not required to report your income to the IRS in 2020, or if you received any of the benefits, SNAP, SNF, SSDI, or if you earn less than $99,000 as an individual, or like $198,000 as a joint fellow, or if, let's say in column B, if you were affected by COVID-19 and you can't, like your household income has gone down, or you lost work, or your wages have gone down significantly. And to your right, there's a QR code. It's like, let's give everyone a second to, if you want to find out more about it. It's really directly to the CDC document. Yeah. So some complications with this, like with the rent moratorium, is that it doesn't prevent landowners from filing for eviction. So since mid-March of 2020, according to Eviction Lab, out of the 6 states and 32 major cities that were tracked, there have been 494,000 eviction filings. And because renters are not paying their rents, it puts like financial burdens on every party involved, like because, you know, like landlords are not able to pay for their mortgage, that puts their properties at risk to wealthy investors. And some barriers to access to the stimulus check is that people don't know that they can reply. They don't have access to online forms, and the $46 billion is being built out very slowly because some local governments require extensive identification before you can receive the stimulus check, like photo ID. If you look at the map on the right, those are the top 10 cities with the highest eviction filings during COVID-19. It's like Phoenix, Houston, Memphis, Fort Worth, Columbus, and all that good stuff. In the next slide. So the homeless population is among the most vulnerable population during this pandemic due to the lack of sanitation and access to showers, in addition to the physical decline due to constant exposure to the environment. Individuals in homelessness are at a higher risk of mortality to COVID-19. So vaccination rates among homeless populations is still very low. So according to the National Healthcare for the Homeless Council, that rate is about 20 to 30%. So the low rate is attributable to many things that have always acted as barriers to homelessness before, like lack of transportation, like people don't know where to go, like information barrier, language barriers, like people know where to go, but they don't know how to talk to get the vaccine. One thing to note is that people are also hesitant to get the vaccine because they're worried about not being able to fend for themselves when they're under the side effects of the vaccine. Like, let's say if you're streets in the middle of the night, right, and someone comes to try to take your stuff if if you have a fever because of a vaccine, as a side effect, you can't really fend for yourself. So that's why people are hesitant to take the vaccine. And nationwide, there are more than 375,000 people in homeless centers have been tested positive for COVID-19. This is only in homeless centers though, and not like comprehensive of the overall actual number, because not all homeless individuals are in homeless centers. Okay, so just some homelessness in the news. As COVID restrictions are lessening and businesses are going back to normal, the temporary shelters that opened up during the pandemic are closing down. An example is the San Diego Convention Center that Martin mentioned in the beginning, which was open for 11 months and closed down at the end of March. Since then, people have gone back to bridge shelter like Alpha Project and Better Joe's, but those shelters still have to follow like CDC rules of social distancing. So their capacity are very limited right now. Let's say if a shelter that could accommodate 350 beds now have around 180 beds. So where do the rest go? Well, they go to bridge shelters, just even more temporary shelters that have opened up. You go to motels. I know in there is Project Room Key, which is the government just buying up vacant motels and putting that out for individuals and homelessness to use, as well as homeless camps. But there is also a problem with that too as well. It's especially in California, I've done most of my research in California, but the city of LA are voting on the 24th, November 24th, on an anti-camping proposal that would ban people from sitting, lying down, or bunking down near schools, parks, or daycare centers, just basically public properties. So people are fearing that the ban would criminalize homelessness in the city, and it's because, it's if you don't have anywhere to go and you're sitting on public property, but you're not allowed to. They have a means to arrest you just for doing that. The Federal Agency of Aviation in San Jose is closing down a 40-acre camp in the buffer zone, the runway of the airplanes and the residential area. I mean, they say it's for it's for safety issues, but that's a very big camp that a lot of people need. And so a lot of people consider it their home, and now they're being forced out. And then in Camp Solido in North California, had a month-long crackdown due to federal court ruling allowing the city to disband and move the camp 1 mile away from the waterfront. That's the view that blocks the view of the rich neighborhood. So it's things like that really. It's just really bad for the homeless population. And then, so how the renters crisis comes in is that it will put extra burdens on the homeless population. Actually, Julia, it's still in the same slide. But so in let's say increasing rate of eviction will increase the rate of homelessness, and then taking resources away from those who are already currently homeless. It's the Black, Indigenous, people of color population will be disproportionately affected because in the last 2 slides, the top 10 cities with the highest eviction following are also among the top 50 cities in which the African-American population makes up the majority of homelessness. So yeah, I would suggest reading this, The Tales of 2 Zip Codes. By Jocelyn Guino. There's the QR code right there. It delves into the lives of high school students who live on the poor side of Oakland during the pandemic, and it's a very interesting read, and I would highly recommend you all to just do your own research about the renters crisis. But yeah, that is my brief overview, and then moving on to fundraising. So fundraising summary. In March 2020, when the pandemic was, it's like increasing and lockdown was being established. Like Lauren said, we didn't really know what to do. And because like everything was so hectic, but we knew that we wanted to do something for the homeless population. So we came up with, Camille, one of our past director, and I came up with the GoFundMe campaign, in which we managed to raise like $3,000 to make 400 care packages to distribute between homeless shelters in Riverside and San Diego. For beginning, we created a community relief fund that like basically goes directly into like rental assistance, application assistance, and just basic needs for the volunteer service navigation program. And in beginning of around the holidays of 2020, we created a small fundraiser in which it's like Shane Johnson and I went, and Martin as well. We went to San Diego, distributed care packages, and it was like something that we wanted to do for the homeless populations during like such a special time. And we also had a mini campaign as well for Michael and his family, in which we managed to raise enough money to provide him and his family with 2 weeks of motel vouchers. So in total, we managed to raise like $1,500 to go to it's like COVID relief. So that was like very interesting. But yeah, so now we have a new for this upcoming academic year, we have a new fundraising infrastructure that I'm going to let Adele talk about.
Hi, y'all. My name's Adele. I am a committee member of the fundraising team. It's really nice to meet y'all. Just to kind of energize everyone, I want everyone in their box to try to touch like the next person in the next box, especially the bottom people. Like everyone like grab a neighbor and like say hi. Everyone get cozy. We're having a good time. All right, cool, because let's make some money. DIY fundraisers. Let's go. Why are we doing this? What have we done in the past? What is all of this P2P fundraising? What is it? So the single tier model, there's two models, is kind of the GoFundMe, Kickstarter type of thing. One entity creates a page, tries to get supporters. The second type of model is the multi-tier, where there's one entity who creates the page, and then there are supporters who can create their own fundraising page and run their own campaigns. So what I'm really trying to tap into is this peer-to-peer model. You can go to the next slide, where you can kind of create this whole entire network. So each fundraiser actually will bring in, on average, more than a single fundraiser in a standard setting. And if there's no peer-to-peer structure, each person can leverage their own donor pools. You can reach out to friends, family, and people from home. And it's also a really great way to get your family members involved, younger siblings, cousins, people who just maybe they don't have the money to donate themselves, but can put in the time and a little bit of work to help kind of bring some life into the project. All right. And it's going to be fewer days selling boba on Library Walk, which is nice. Okay, so new platform. What are we doing? We are on a new donation platform this year called Classy. What it gives us is a lot of event managing tools, donor management tools, payment processing. So it has Stripe, it takes credit cards, bank transfers. As of right now, they take Apple Pay and Google Pay. Starting in, I believe, October, they'll be accepting PayPal. And then at the beginning of next year, we will be able to accept Venmo donations directly to our account, which is fantastic. What does this mean for each chapter? So we have this main classy account. Every chapter is going to have their own page, so you can run school-specific campaigns. If Oregon wants to do something forest themed, if Riverside wants to do something around the Riverside music festivals that they have on campus, every chapter has the flexibility to be able to do that, as well as with the peer-to-peer supporters. Each person gets their own fundraising profile. So it's kind of like your fundraising Facebook page. It's your central spot. And you get like a little like fundraising thermometer to see how well you're doing. You can set your goals, and it's an easy link to send out to people and just direct people to one place and say, I'm raising money for this cause. Come check out what I'm doing. Come see my updates, see what this is about, and maybe consider supporting. But yeah, next slide. All right, so what is the plan of action? So currently we're in the soft launch process. What that means is that leadership is working on some DIY campaigns right now to feature the wonderful Ms. Erica with an E, Lynn. Erica did a really fun challenge where she tried to flip whipped cream, like she threw it in the air and like tried to catch it. And so I don't know if you all have seen it. If you haven't, it's a good time. And it was a really fun way to get people engaged. Hard launch is that we're hoping to have the pages ready for the chapters and get the chapters trained by 9:20 so that each chapter can kind of do their own thing. Next is going to be some focal point days for this quarter. So another thing that we want to do to focus fundraising is to just put these dates in people's minds and use it as a push to say, hey, there's this day. We would love if you could consider it to support our organization. So World Homelessness Day on 10/10, and then Giving Tuesday. So from Giving Tuesday through the end of the year, it's a really good time to ask for donations. It's on people's minds, and that will be really the mad dash to get to the end of the year. Okay, so this is the planning and recruiting stage. The engagement stage is getting people to donate money. So Erica, with her whipped cream fundraiser, has raised over $300 in a couple days. And then, yeah, you can go to the next slide. And just some ideas to get started. So if you are crafty, you can make something. If it's any occasion, you can say, I'm running a fundraiser for my birthday. Can you help me raise $100 for this project? A walkathon where you sponsor by the mile, or you can do like a give it up fundraiser. So I drink a lot of coffee. So I could have, and my committee member, Caitlin, is the one who brought this up, but she would have her friend sponsor, like, give me $1 for every day that I don't drink coffee. And you know, it's probably better for all of us. We all need a caffeine detox every once in a while. All right, Julia. So Julia did a wonderful cellophane challenge DIY fundraiser. She wrapped herself in cellophane and tried to get out. Julia, if you want to
So the lovely Adele created this slide, and it features screenshots from my Instagram live of me unwrapping. Not the most flattering things in the world. However, it was for an amazing cause. So this is just one example of like an easy way to do a DIY fundraiser. I think it cost me $3 to get all of the cellophane, and then me and my lovely cohort at SDSU worked on collecting pledges for about a month before the actual challenge. Every time I mentioned the challenge, I was able to throw in a little bit of educational stuff too, and I reused every single piece of plastic. It did not just get thrown away, it was repurposed, so zero waste. But like that's an example of like one DIY fundraiser, and it took maybe an hour of wrapping and unwrapping. And so really it's something fun and exciting, and it's just a cool way to be engaged with those that were, you know, asking to donate to this great cause.
Yeah, it's like a fantastic way. It's adding more tools to fundraising toolbox. You don't necessarily have to be in front of people, and there's a lot of fun, creative ways where you can monetize and fundraise, but also like, still social distance and still kind of like do the Instagram live, Zoom thing that we've all been living these days. The next DIY feature is Erica with an A. So Erica did a jogathon fundraiser and raised quite a bit of money. Like, how much money was it? I don't have the exact number, but it was.
Erica, don't be shy. I see you. Unmute yourself. Let us know how amazing your
Hi,
fundraiser
Erica. I've
was.
never met you before. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys. It was over $1,000. I was really surprised.
In a day, y'all. In a day.
Well, the thing is, I ran like a lot of miles to get that much money. So, but it was so fun. I had a lot of support from family and friends. So it's a really fun fundraiser if you guys want to be active, and it's a good way to work out as well.
And I bet it encouraged you to run, of just like, well, if I just run one more mile.
It did, yeah.
That's
Erica,
awesome.
Don't be humble. Tell them how far you ran.
Oh, I ran 13 miles. But yeah, I had to though, because I was like, all these people are relying on me. So it was fun.
That's awesome. That is like 12 more miles than I can run. Yeah, thank you so much, y'all, for your fantastic DIY examples. Like, my job wouldn't be possible without you. So thank you for making my life my life a little bit easier. I look forward to seeing what everyone's fundraisers look like.
Sorry, I am struggling a little bit with Zoom today. I apologize for the glitchiness, but big round of applause to Kwok and Adele for their amazing presentations. I hope you see how fundraising kind of is interconnected with the good work we're doing, and we've got some great new ways to fundraise, and it's a really good way for everything to be interconnected because we are a team and we are all working together towards the same goals. On the topic of teamwork, let's talk a little bit about Msp Operations. So, like, what are we doing? Let's see here. So, our flow is finally returning kind of back to normal. So we have 3 prongs, essentially. We've got community organization, relationship-based outreach, and volunteer service navigation. So we're going to start from the left and work our way right. So community organization, right? We are recruiting and training volunteers, which all of you are going to be very involved with in these upcoming months. I know SDSU has already started, but all of our other chapters are yet to begin. So, we're going to be doing a lot of community organization. We need volunteers, and that all comes down to recruiting. In this process, we want to educate about what homelessness is. We want to destigmatize a lot of these things that Antonio mentioned in his presentation, and we want to encourage community engagement, and you all are crucial to this step. Once we have these volunteers, once we've recruited and trained, we're back to outreach, baby. If all goes as planned, which Casey's going to talk about a little bit more later, if all goes to plan, we're going to be having outreach again, which means that we have an opportunity to provide access to basic needs, resource guides, and to streamline clients to our service navigation program in person, which would be insane. And then, we've got our volunteer service navigation program, which, not to be biased, but I think it's pretty freaking spectacular. Service navigation works so hard. They do so much. And if you don't know, I'm just going to give you a little synopsis, but we connect clients to one of our trained service navigators, and they provide emotional support, weekly check-ins, person-centered advocacy, relaying it back to what Antonio said about listening, about granting autonomy when it should have already been assumed. It's all there. So big shout out to our service navigation program, but really all 3 aspects of Mustard Seed Project, from community organization, relationship-based outreach, and service navigation, all works towards this fundamental positive change that we are trying to implement. So with that being said, let's talk about relaunching outreach. Miss Casey. Oh, hold on.
Actually,
Oh, Erica. Gosh, I'm so sorry.
You're chilling. You're fine.
Erica.
After me, we're good. But hi everyone. I'm Erica. I'm Director of Data and Analysis here at Msp, but I'm serving as the interim for chapter operations stuff. And so with that, let's get into the chapter operations. So we want to introduce this software called VOMO to everyone. This is going to be helpful in terms of organizing shifts, tracking volunteer hours. They have gift card incentives. Can you click on the animation once more? That too. Gift card incentives, and there's even like a mobile app which will help with volunteer check-in. Kind of talk to various people that have done outreach before, and as we get ready for things to go on, notice that a lot of it was done through Google spreadsheets, Google Forms, and like that poor secretary right before shifts start who has to, or poor leadership chapter board that has to just spend a whole night or two trying to jigsaw people's schedules together. So hopefully this software will help in terms of not only organizing, but also kind of tracking the volunteer hours. We have lots of volunteers. They come out often and do, and it's hard to kind of like keep track of who is able to make it when you can check in, check out, and identify those people that have just been going hard with the similar in a way to like seeing who is able to volunteer a lot. I mean, who is able to fundraise a ton of amount. It's similar in terms of people with their volunteer hours and things like that. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense. Sorry, stumbled over my words for a bit. But in this slide here is like a little video that I have just walking kind of through what it looks like from a volunteer's perspective. Here you can see how the different chapters are. And we have one demo one set up for the UC Riverside one. So I'm just going to that, and it's to their gumbo outreach shift. What you do is you click on it, and the application to apply for that shift is as easy as clicking apply and apply. Confirming that, and then you can have it set up. There's a lot of little things on the administrative side. You can add liability waivers and stuff, and also wanted to show off like volunteers would even be able to see their own hours. So this is not only helpful for chapter boards to kind of organize things, but it's also super useful for the volunteers themselves to just see like, oh, I've done this many hours, and it even has this calculation for economic impact. So your hours translated to how much money of help that has come to. It's like awesome. I think it'll help, like I said, not just the chapter boards organize, but also the volunteers keep track and be able to kind of tell others what they've been able to do. So this will be set up. No worries. You can move on to the next slide. I'll just finish up what I was saying back there. But this will help like just keep things a little bit more organized and help everyone get on the same page with things like that. All the administrative access for each chapters is given to the @mustardproject.org email. So that's going to be SDSU at Mustard Project, UCR at Mustard Project, UCSD, UO, et cetera, et cetera. You all should have access to that, and that can make it play around with it. Talk to your designated leadership committee member that is working with you. And if you have any questions and things like that, there's a lot of trainings about VOMO online that VOMO provides, as well as we have like a nice little one-pager we can send out to you guys to kind of get into it and understand the structure a little better. With that, the next part for in-person outreach is, well, the reason we have to relaunch it in the first place, COVID, right? And so with that, things are definitely up in the air. It's interesting, especially with the newer Delta variant going around. So in addition to that, we've also heard a lot of people do want to get out and volunteer and like go out in person when they can. And I understand that a lot. And so what we did for part of the summer is the team kind of discussed and figured out certain precautions that will need to be adhered towards, with a little bit of flexibility for chapters to add as they need. So for sure, there's this new COVID specific waiver that'll come out. The beauty with VOMO is when someone signs up for it, that VOMO will, that waiver will be part of the sign up registration process for the app. So it's not having to send out Google links over and over again, and pretty easy that way. And then the next bullet, max vaccination, social distancing. Oh my. With that, wanted to say that, all volunteers must wear a mask for any official MSP event. Just, even if you're vaccinated or not, just be extra safe, right? It's going to be a bring your own mask policy. I'm sure a lot of us have reusable masks or a large stockpile that your mom sent you. But in addition to that, we will also be shipping out some extra disposable masks just to serve as like a backup for each chapter to have, as well as each chapter is going to be given $500 as an investment in terms of buying supplies for COVID, helping with other certain fundraising, or renting out certain venues as needed. And this is really just an investment for you guys, because we believe and we know that, you know, you can do a lot with that. And sometimes money is like a slight barrier, so that can help hopefully. You know, of course, there'll be like a report and all that afterwards to see how things went with it. And then for outreach specifically, we are going to require that any volunteer that participates in outreach must be fully vaccinated before you go out. This doesn't mean that, you know, you have to be fully vaccinated to join MSP. You can still do some things, but you just cannot go on into outreach. We just, you know, we want to do what's right and do what's best for not only our volunteers, but also the clients that we're working with or the people that we're serving. And with that, ideally, the secretary is going to be in charge of like getting a copy of the vaccine card, and have the deadline for when people should have that submitted is before the first outreach. We're going to have the chapters kind of be in charge of that and figure it out with their volunteers, and then reach out to you and see the lists and stuff like that. And then finally, the last two bullet points kind of go hand in hand a little bit. Make sure to follow all your state, local, university, and outreach partner guidelines. That's just, you know, different places are different. The beauty and the ugly of the United States with all the different states is that things can be a little unique. So, you know, as chapters, you know what's best in your local area. Feel free to add any extra procedures as necessary. For example, say you want like volunteers to have a verified negative COVID test some number of days before outreach. You can implement that. It's really up to you. So if you feel like these precautions we have are not necessarily, you feel like you want some more, you can discuss with the assigned leadership team member, and you guys can hash things out that way as you figure out what to do with your volunteers. With that, are there any questions? If not, I can hand this off to Casey.
Thanks, Erica. Hello, everyone. Oh, let's go to the AIRS training. Okay, so here's a quick reminder that on September 11th, you all get to spend an extra bit of time with me and Martin at our next AIRS training. It is from 11 to 12 p.m. Your chapter committee representative will be sending you the link to that Zoom once I have it solidified. This is an image from our first training. If you are completely confused on what AIRS is and you're just at a loss, please feel free to let me know. This training is required for all chapters, for the president, as well as secretary and the volunteer coordinator. So if you haven't attended, I should be seeing a lot of faces next week because I don't see that many faces on this screenshot. So I'm excited to see you all next week, and we'll dive into the next slide. So as we enter this coming year, we do have a bit of base guidelines for our chapter goals. If we go to the next slide, we could see what is going on. So we could go ahead and show all of, do you want to click one more time? There we go. So to start off, we do have our goals for workshops, recruitment, socials, and service events. So for workshops, you want to have them at least in person or online, depending if you are quarter or semester. For the quarters, we do expect you to host at the very least 2 workshops, and for the semesters, 3 workshops per semester. These workshops could be modeled off YouTubes that we've done in the past. For example, Cecily did a lot of them. If you aren't familiar with who she is, she's bomb. She was in the news. She's done a lot for MSP. These workshops do not have to have speakers come. So if you have attended workshops before and we had speakers, don't panic. We won't require you to find you these speakers. These workshops are more so informative and for you to host for your own chapters. Next, we do have recruitment. We do want to have at least 2 successful cycles per year. Usually this is at the beginning of the year and for spring. We want to be able to recruit at least 10 or more CA1s per cycle. This is pretty consistent. I already see SDSU ramping up their recruitment. It's amazing. If you haven't seen it yet, their tabling is great. It's beautiful. I've been able to see it. So that's been an honor to look at. Next up, we do have our socials. So these socials could be hosted in person or online. I know earlier in a breakout room, someone had mentioned that they're a little hesitant doing in person. So online still is an option. This is something for you to discuss with your chapters. We want to have 3 per year. I know you definitely can do a lot more than this, but again, this is just the base guidelines. And next up, we do have our service events. So we want to have at least 1 community partner, and the frequency is determined by the chapter. The service events are outreaches. So for example, SCSU, your outreach could be with, this is just an example, with God's Extended Hand. That counts as a service event. Doing street outreach is a service event, but we do want to have this in place. If you have any questions about this, please let us know. Julia's been doing a great job on communicating with our partners. If you have any questions regarding your partners, please feel free to reach out to your chapter committee member or Julia. But we will go to the next slide. So this is our fundraising goals. We were able to go over a bit of fundraising earlier with the DIY fundraising. We want to have 2 chapter-wide fundraisers per year. And we highly recommend cohort DIY fundraisers, kind of what we showed earlier. The 2 chapter-wide fundraisers could be if your chapter decides to do a fundraiser with Rubio's or Wings and Things, if you have a partner that you can reach out to. But this money will be for the whole chapter rather than for individual cohort groups. So if you have any confusion about that, again, please let us know. These are some term goals that we want to hit per quarter. For the entire chapter, we do want to be able to raise at least $1,000. And for the semesters, $1,500 per semester. And for new chapters, because you are still starting up, we don't want to apply that much pressure, $1,000 per the whole year. So this includes both semesters or all quarters. If you do have any questions regarding this, please let me know. Definitely will be able to reach this, because look at Erica, she raised over 1,000 in one day. So I have high hopes for us. But we could go to the next slide. And down to the nitty gritty, a lot of people have been asking about fees. We are going to be implementing fees again now that we are transitioning back to in-person. We have a no questions asked policy. So if a member is unable to pay fees, go ahead, waive the fees for members. Don't ask why. If they simply tell you this is something I can't do, totally fine. Our national fee, which is the minimum, for current members, the renewal fee is $20 for the year. For new members, it's $40 for the year. So if you enter MSP in the fall, you would pay your $20 in the fall and then pay it again that next fall. If you enter in the spring, you would pay it in the spring, and then that next spring, paid it again. You wouldn't have to pay it twice during the recruitment cycles. And in addition, chapters do have the flexibility to add on extra fees if they want. This is a conversation to have with your exec board, but usually I know some chapters want to have an application fee, for example, like, oh, I want to charge $10 per application that we receive. This money would go towards X, Y, and Z. And talking about where our money is going, we could go to the next screen. Oh, sorry, I skipped ahead. We're going to go over the Treasury Duties first. So all the treasurers are responsible for providing a detailed review of the money transactions for the year. Review must be done in workbook and provided to the Director of Finance. If you do not know who the Director of Finance is, it's Antoinette. She's amazing. I've been able to talk with her a little bit. If you don't know what the workbook is for your chapter and you are the treasurer, please reach out to your chapter committee member. This is something we could assist you with, and we'd be more than happy to do so. And we can go to the next page. So here is our fee breakdown. So for new members, why we do charge $40 versus $20 is because we do have training and t-shirt costs. So we do have to consider that people are putting time aside to do the trainings. For current members, it's just the renewal fee. But as we look on the right-hand side for new and current members, items required for care packages and outreach organization costs, like gas, VOMO, that platform isn't free. So all this money is going towards a good place. We are a nonprofit, so none of it's going to our pockets. It is all going back to the organization and to the community. And I just want to reiterate, all the goals were a base guideline. Every member I've had the chance to speak with is an overachiever. So we do hope to see a little bit more than just the base guideline for those goals. But if you hit them, we're happy, and we're happy to have you along with our team. And I will pass this along to the next person. I believe Hannah.
Yes, hello everyone. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, awesome. Sometimes my headphones can be a little janky, so just let me know if I'm breaking up. I am here to present on our volunteer service navigation program, which Julia was talking about a little bit earlier. She and I are the co-directors of volunteer service navigation. We're really proud of the program that so many people have helped build over the past few years. So to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown, what is the VSN program? It's a free opt-in, opt-out service for those experiencing or at risk of homelessness. Each client is matched up with one of our trained volunteer service navigators who provide supplementary support to assist clients in pursuing their housing goals. I'll go into a little bit more about what that supplementary support is later. Some of the things that make our program unique is that we're extremely low barrier to clients. Really, all they need is to be experiencing or at risk of homelessness, and they need some form of communication, so like a phone or email that they can use. And that one's purely out of necessity, right? Like we have to be able to contact them. So other than that, we work with anybody. The other thing is we have a max caseload of 5 clients per service navigator. In practice, this is really more like 3 to 1. I really try not to give my service navigators more than 3 clients, just to make sure I'm respecting their time and to make sure they're able to give the appropriate attention to their clients. So going into that next point, due to our low caseload, we're very person-centered. Case managers throughout the industry say that they're person-centered, and they are. But the fact is, when you're working with 50, 60, 70 clients, it's really hard to be, as person-centered as needed. So that's something that we really pride ourselves in, is due to our low caseload, we're able to be that person-centered. And it also contributes to a low rate of burnout among VSNs. So that's a huge problem within case management, is just the rate of burnout. So again, due to this low caseload and due to the relatively short terms of service navigators, they usually only do this for like a year, 2, maybe 3. So it really contributes to a lower rate of burnout. Moving on to the next slide. I'm just going to give you guys a little overview of the structure. So Julie and I, as co-directors of service navigation, we oversee the entire program. Right now we have 3 programs, one at UCSD, UCR, and SDSU. We're hoping to expand to the new chapter soon. And so at each of these chapters, there's a case coordinator. They're essentially like the regional manager of their chapter service navigators. As much as Julia and I love working with our service navigators, it's gotten to a point where we need a little help. We can't, be as involved as we want to. So we have our case coordinators, and they oversee the service navigators at each chapter. So going into a little bit of what our services are, first thing up is resume building, or just employment services in general. That's something that's been really helpful. The one that you guys probably have heard about a lot, connection to community services, just helping clients do research, find out what resources and services or programs would be appropriate in helping them in their situation. Application assistance is a huge one. We help a lot of our clients apply for CalFresh, Medi-Cal. We've even done community college applications, you name it, we'll assist with it. Weekly check-ins is a huge one. I know it sounds a little underwhelming, but I think it's one of our key services and the reason why so many clients like working with us. So our weekly check-ins, they used to be in person. Now, because of COVID, they're over the phone, but our clients still really appreciate it. Basically, just the service navigator gives them a call, asks them how they're doing, sees what services they can provide. I found we've had clients who, stick with our program just for this service. The service navigator is not providing any other service besides the weekly check-ins, and they just really appreciate having someone on their side to check in on them and provide a little bit of that emotional and social support. And then our biggest one, our star, right, is the Community Relief Fund, which I'll go into a little bit more, but yeah, it's really great. We use it for, oh yeah, you can go into the next slide. Okay, I'll talk about the CRF a little later, sorry. So this is our data for the services we've provided halfway, for the first half of 2021, so from January to June. As you can see, we provided a bulk of them are referrals. We've done a lot of CRF applications, and we've provided application aid and 8 resumes. Erica is just letting me know this is up to September. Okay, so a little bit longer. So this is very recent. This is our most recent data. Some notable numbers that I want to highlight is we've had 736 check-ins between our VSNs and their clients, which is just a huge number. Obviously couldn't be included in the pie chart because it would be the entire pie chart. So that just really shows how much communication and how much contact there is between our service navigators and their clients. We've had 41 unique cases, 8 carried over from 2020. So that's just the size of our client pool currently, which I think is pretty great considering we have like less than 20 VSNs. We've had 2 reactivated cases. We make it really easy for clients who have been working with our program and they want to leave. If they want to come back, totally up to them, totally doable. We're an opt-in, opt-out program. And the last one I really want to highlight, I think is great. We have about an 8-day average from application to active case, which is really great. Some programs, you won't even hear back from them within 8 days. And so what goes into that is a client or somebody refers a client, they submit an application, Julia or I review it, we assign it within 24 hours, and then the VSN has to set up a meeting with the client to complete an evaluation, after which they're considered active. So I think that's a really great turnaround time, and it really shows just how quick we're able to step up to the plate and provide services. So yes, going more into our amazing Community Relief Fund. As you can see, we've provided a lot of rental assistance, which has just been amazing, especially considering the presentation that Kwok did earlier on the rental crisis. I think it's really relevant and a much needed service that we're able to provide for our community right now. We've also provided assistance with transportation, basic needs, and personal enrichment. Personal enrichment's kind of just our other category. I think there's probably a GED CRF in there or something. And another category we have is healthcare. So in the past, I believe last year, we've helped people out with medication. Anyway, so I just want to, if you could, thank you. I just want to point out that we have an average of 7 to 8 days from clients applying for funds to them receiving them. I don't know if y'all are up to date on rental relief, but that's taking forever from the county and the city. Oh my God, just taking forever. So again, really great how quickly we're able to provide services for people who are in need. Going down to the amounts that we've spent from our Community Relief Fund, huge shout out to chapters and your fundraising. Oh my God. I'm so thankful for you guys. When we started the Community Relief Fund, I did not even think we would get to this point. I was nervous to provide money for rent because I was like, oh, then we're gonna not have any money and we're gonna be broke. But because of the fundraising efforts at the chapter level, we've been able to step up and provide that kind of support for our clients and our community. And I'm so grateful for all MSP members for making that happen. Okay, moving on to the next slide. This is just a long list of organizations that have referred clients. So I just wanted to show that You know, MSP is active in our community, and other community-based organizations know about us, at least in San Diego. We're working on Riverside and at our new chapters in Santa Barbara and Oregon. But in San Diego, where we've been for a while and working as service navigation for a while, they know us and they refer clients to us because they know that we provide good quality services. And then I just wanted, you know, if you guys want to take a little time to read some of the things clients have said, I know there's a lot on this slide. I just kind of wanted to point out one that I think is really touching is my service navigator was awesome. She answered all of my questions. She was always there communicating with me. She was a very, very helpful person. And other ones, they show moral support, helping them out with figuring out transportation and resumes and employment searches. I think these quotes are really great because they really show how impactful the services we provide can be for clients. Okay, so this is really relevant for you guys. I know sometimes, especially starting outreach, right? How do you connect someone to the service navigation program? So we have our client application where if you meet someone who you think would benefit from our services, they can fill out this application here. You can fill it out with them. Or you can just give them our hotline number. Maybe they're not ready to fill out an application on the spot, or maybe you don't have time to help them fill it out. So you can just give them the hotline number. They can give it a call, leave a voicemail with their number, best contact info, and the services they're seeking. And then someone, Julia or I, will give them a call back within 24 hours to complete a client application. One thing I want to say is when you're considering connecting someone to the service navigation program, please remember that we're not a housing service. Please don't promise people that we can provide them housing or that we can connect them to housing programs, because that's something that is really out of our scope, and that's why it was not included in our list of services. So really just keep in mind, you know, connection to community resources, employment, application assistance, check-ins, stuff like that is stuff that we're really able to deliver on. But yeah, I believe that's the last slide. So thank you all for your time. I'll hand it off to the next person.
Also, really quick, just on that topic, if you ever have a question about scope of practice, don't be afraid to reach out. Literally just message me or Hannah, but like we'll respond so fast. Like just let us know if you have a question about what the scope is for our service navigation program. We have no issue answering any questions about it. With that being said, thank you so much, Hannah, for that lovely presentation. Thank you everyone who's been presenting. We have a break. So everyone, we're going to take a 10-minute break, but just so you know, when we come back, we do have a game of Jeopardy to be played. So think about all the things you've learned today, because that's all going to be tested after this break. Everyone take good 10 minutes, go get some water, stretch your legs, stretch your arms, do something fun for a short period of time. And we will all be back at 3:25. So yeah, enjoy your break. I hope some water, perhaps a snack, whatever it was. I hope you enjoyed your 10-minute break. But let me get things set up for us to start again. If you'll just bear with me for one moment. Sorry, my computer has been a little special today. All right, let me share my screen. Okay, so we are going to get, I'm just going to do this really quick. Okay, we're going to get started on Jeopardy. So let me actually, sorry, these are different. Oh, it's a different set of slides. One moment. Sorry, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. I have to pull it up. I don't know why it wasn't already pulled up. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Let me share my screen again. Take two. Okay. Let's see the present button because your beautiful faces are there. All right. MSP Jeopardy. Welcome back. I hope everyone is ready for a good, fun time. So the way that this is going to work is there are teams. So we've got UCSD all on their lonesome. Good luck, UCSD. The other teams are UCR and UCSB affiliated individuals, U of O and UCI affiliated individuals, and an SDSU and any additional MSP supporters. Those are your teams. So really quick, does everyone kind of understand the gist of Jeopardy? Do we kind of know how it works? I'm still going to give instructions, but I just need to know how detailed I need to be in those instructions. Okay, I'm going to take silence as everyone kind of has a gist. So we have set up some questions. All of these questions are in different categories. So we've got fundraising, relaunching outreach, chapter goals, service navigation, and the renters court crisis, plus a final question. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to start at random. So here's how we're going to start. Oh, let me reel it back for a second. When you have the question that matches the answer that's going to be presented, when I click on any one of these numbers, when that happens, type in the chat. So in the chat, don't put the question, just put your team. So just for reference, really quick, let me go backwards. Just for reference, if you say I'm an SDSU affiliated individual and I'm like, I know the question that matches this answer, I would type in SDSU or Team 4. Whichever one you want to do works. So you can either type in the chapter that you're affiliated with or whatever team you are on. It is up to you. But the first person who I see that from in the chat is who's going to be able to answer the question, or question the answer, because it's Jeopardy first. Does that make sense to everyone? Does everyone understand how to respond to try to get the answers? For leadership team, if you would like to participate, why don't we have you all broken up? Because, you know, we don't want any unfair advantages, right? So leadership team, you'll be broken up by whatever chapter you were affiliated with prior to being on leadership team. Does that sound good to everybody? All right, all right. With that being said, is everyone ready to begin? If you could just give me a quick thumbs up emoji, that would be spectacular. Or just a thumbs up with the camera, that works too. All right, we've got thumbs up, we've got thumbs up. Let's go, everyone get ready. This is gonna be really fun. It's really fun and fresh. Okay, here we go. So, oh, sorry. Really quick, on the count of 3, type in your team name or however you're going to be like raising your hand. So whether you say team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4, or UCSD, SDSU, UCR, whatever it is, type that in the chat and the first person I see is going to get to go first. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, send it in the chat. All right, SDSU's first, let's go. Not that I'm biased, but that's also mine. Okay, SDSU. No, you can check the chats. You can check the chats. Rose was on top of it. Okay, so with that being said, Rose, because you are the lovely one who responded first, why don't you pick our first category and the amount?
Let's do chapter goals for 800.
Chapter goals for 800, starting off strong. All right, everyone ready with their keyboards and everything? So items required for care packages, VOMO, gas, and gas reimbursements. If you know the question, throw it in the chat. Oh gosh.
Were you guys not listening to me? Was I talking to a wall?
So, oh man, I guess SDSU's going first, but what are the fees going towards for both returning and new members? Oh, wait, I gotta click on it. Oh man, I guess SDSU gets 800 points. Let's go. Okay. I'm keeping track on my trusty dusty notepad, so don't worry, everyone. All things are above board here. Okay, so now that chapter goals is out, I'm gonna go ahead and pick service navigation for 800. Okay, everyone ready? Get ready with the keyboards. You gotta be typing fast. Within 24 hours of contacting MSP, what happens? I gave a little hint there. Oh, okay. UCSD got that one. What is your answer, Martin?
A client is assigned.
Is he correct? Yeah.
Why should a client be a client? That's that. Why? How quickly the client is assigned?
It's a bit of a stretch, but I'll give it to you. It's close enough. It's also almost the same thing. All right, so now we've got 2 800s out of the way. Martin, what is the next category?
Let's go fundraising for 100.
Fundraising for 100. All right, UCR, we're waiting to see you get on the board. UCSD. Wait, what? Classy, what is it? Who's gonna type in the chat first? SDSU. All right, Casey, what'd you get?
What is MSP's new fundraising platform?
Whoa, look at that. You know, the only thing better than getting this question correct is creating your own fundraising page on Classy to start fundraising, which goes towards our lovely community relief fund that Service Navigation uses on a daily basis. Okay, great work. Casey, you can go ahead and pick the next category.
We'll do relaunching outreach for 100. And I'm not talking anymore. Somebody else has to talk.
Yes, I do encourage you, if you've already answered a question, do not answer anymore because we want everyone to get involved. But if it's taking a long time, feel free to throw your name in the chat. All right, relaunching outreach for 100. Let's go. What is VOMO? Or VOMO. Sorry, I'm really bad at Jeopardy. All right. SDSU, let's go. Rebecca, what is your answer?
Our new volunteer platform.
Whoa, she's correct. Wow, SDSU showing up today. Let's get it. Okay, so that was chapter 100, right? Or was that last one chapter?
That was
outreach.
Relaunching outreach for 100. Sorry, I'm trying to keep track of all this. Okay, Rebecca, what would you like the next category to be?
Renters crisis.
For
500.
500. All right. Let's see it. 20 to 30%. It's tricky. Ooh. Come on, I know one of you knows it. You can guess. Nothing wrong with guessing either. All right, UCSD, Miss Hannah Hovren, what do you think this is?
I'm going to say first, I don't know if this is fair because I wrote the questions. So if anyone else has a guess, you can go for it. Otherwise, I can just tell you all. Anyone want to take a guess?
Don't be shy. This is a safe space. It's okay to get an answer wrong.
Okay.
I'll
SDSU.
guess.
All right, Rebecca, giving it a shot. Let's go.
What is the percentage of unsheltered individuals that had COVID? I may be way off. Oh,
we're in the right ballpark. You're in the right ball. Oh, should I have let someone else try?
It's all good. I say we give her the points because that was kind of close.
Rose says she has a guess in the chat.
It's okay. It was gonna be the answer, but it's fine.
All right, so that's just you got it no matter what. All right, so okay. Let's see. Renters prices for 500. Sorry. All right. Everyone's doing great. Rose, just because Rebecca, you already chose one. Why don't you? Oh, Rose also was chosen one as well, huh? All right. One of you two, why don't you pick the next category?
Rebecca, you can choose.
Okay, I'll do fundraising for 100.
We already did that one.
Okay. Renters crisis for 100.
Yeah, we can do that. All right. Everyone ready? Everyone getting in the chat? Access to online forms and photo identification in regards to the renters crisis. All right, we got a UCSD from Miss Valerie.
I'm not sure, but call Hannah and they'll get back to you in 24 hours.
Close. Close, but not quite. Wait, is that correct? No. Okay, okay, I was, okay, well, did anyone see the answer? Calling Hannah is always the answer. You are correct. But did anyone see the answer to that question? I clicked on it. No? Okay. So we have a chance for another person to try to answer this question. Access. Okay, UCR. Let's go. UCR. Avisha?
What's a barrier to like to get like a check? I forgot what it's called.
It is a barrier to accessing the stimulus check. Woo! UCR is on the board. Let's go. We love to see it. We love to see it. Okay, great work. And Avisha, what would you like the next category to be?
Can we do fundraising for 500?
Yes, we can. All right, everyone ready at the chat? $15,000. Oh, U of O, we got a U of O. Miss Bailey.
What is the goal for the year? That seems way too high. I think it's actually 1,500, so I take it back.
It's all right. We love the attempt. Great job. Not quite. So can we get another? You can guess again also, Bailey.
No, I don't have another guess. It's okay.
Okay, no worries. Anyone else have any guesses as to what this $15,000 has to do with fundraising? I'll give you a huge hint. It's related to the CRF. UCR, Avisha.
How much we raised?
That is correct. All right. Fundraising 100. Wait, was that fundraising? That was fundraising 500. My bad. Okay, awesome, awesome. We love to see it. Avisha, take again.
Can we do relaunching outreach for 800?
Yes, we can. All right. Prior to your first outreach shift. Avisha.
You have to send your vaccination card in.
That is correct. Ooh, UCSD was hot on your tail on that one. All right, so this is relaunching outreach for 800. Okay, awesome, awesome. We are slowly dwindling it down. Do you want to pick the next category?
I don't know what's open.
Okay, we have fundraising for 800, relaunching outreach for 500, chapter goals for 100 and 500, service navigation for 500 and 100, and then renters crisis for 800.
Let's do service navigation for 500.
Service navigation for 500. Everyone prepped? Everyone ready? 5 to 1. Oh, UCSD got in just before you, Rose. All right, Valerie, what is your answer?
That's like how many client to like helper ratio you want to have, but you usually try to keep it at 3.
Oh, even with extra detail. Valerie is correct. Let's go. Okay, so Valerie is for UCSD, and this was VSN questions for UCSD has been going really well. That's how you all have all your points for 500. Okay, go ahead and pick the next category.
Can we do, I think with service navigation 100 still open?
Yes. All right. Resume building, application assistance, and weekly check-ins. Oh, SDSU. Oh, double SDSU, but Erica got it first. Erica, what's the answer?
It's the duties of VSN and what service navigation does with their clients.
They are some of the services, and that is pretty much what you were saying. So absolutely, that is 100 points to SDSU. All right. Erica, what would you like the next category to be?
Is fundraising 800 open?
Let me check. Yes, I believe it is. Okay. Here we go. Allows access to new networks of donors. This one's good. UCR, Avisha, you're on fire. All right.
Yeah, I'm feeling really competitive. I think it's the P2P thing.
Okay. It is an advantage of P2P fundraising, which stands for peer-to-peer. And you are correct. So let's see, that was fundraising for 800. So we have now closed out fundraising. That is closed out. Relaunching outreach, we have the 500 available. Chapter goals, we have 100 and 500 available. And service navigation's closed out. And then for the renters crisis, we have the 800 available.
Let's do renters crisis for 800.
All right. Around 500,000. Oh, shoot. Rose, was that one for this question?
Yes.
All right, Rose.
How many people have been evicted since the pandemic?
It's close enough because it's how many evictions have been filed since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. So that goes to SDSU, Renters Crisis 800, and that effectively closes out the Renters Crisis questions. So now we've got chapter goals for 100 and 500, and relaunching outreach for 500. These three.
Let's do relaunching outreach for 500.
All right, everyone ready? Air Street. Ooh, Casey, nice. All right, UCSD to Miss Valerie.
We have a meeting for it next week on the 11th that everyone should go to.
I love the attention to detail. You do get the points, but it's also it's a training that all chapter boards have to attend. But yes, we do have a training by the lovely Martin and Casey on September 11th. Please be there. It's really cool. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Also, it's required. All right. That was relaunching outreach for 500. Okay. You can choose chapter goals 100 or chapter goals 500.
Uh,
You cut out a bit there. Do you mind repeating?
sorry, chapter goals 500.
Chapter goals 500. Everyone prepped? Everyone ready? All right, $1,000 or $1,500. Oh, Valerie was quick with it. Okay, Valerie?
Our annual goal, and it's like different depending on semester or quarter.
Kind of. So these are our quarter/semester goals. So not necessarily annual goals, but I'm cool giving you the points because you did differentiate between quester and quarter, semester and quarter. Okay, you got the points. So that was chapter goals for 500, correct? Anyone remember? Was that 5? Yeah. Okay. So everyone ready for chapter goals 100? Is everyone prepped? Everyone good? And here we go. 2 successful cycles per year. All right, I think that was Erica. Oh, no, Karen. That was Karen. Sorry.
That's like recruitment times, like you have to recruit 2 times like a year. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Ooh, this is a tight game. Okay. So we're down to the final question. Does everyone know how final? Let me pause for a second. I'm going to tally up how many points each team has to kind of play with. So let me stop sharing for one moment. Just one moment, because I want to make sure I have the teams correct. 1 second. Okay, so UCSD, I'm gonna do some quick maths. My calculator. Sorry, I'm really bad at math, so just give me a second. Okay, UCSD, you have 2,400 points. Okay, UCR and UCSB, you have 2020. Do you want me just to put these in the chat? Would that be easier, or do you want me just to read them out loud?
Chat, please.
Okay, 1 second. UCSB was 2,400. Whoa, we've got a tie between SDSU and affiliates and UCSD. So, I mean, I think the bets have to get pretty big if I'm being honest. Let me share my screen again really quick. Okay, so for the final question of Jeopardy, you all can decide amongst yourselves how you would like to bet. I figure most chapters have a form of communication that is outside of Zoom, so feel free to use those, whether that's GroupMe, WhatsApp, however it is, and decide amongst yourselves how much you want to bet for. Oh, make the last one worth 25. Oh, I was playing Jeopardy round. Okay. My bad. We're gonna make the last one worth 2,500 points just cause. Okay. So yeah, U of O and UCI, you're still there. We see you. So final question. 2,500 points. Leadership team is not allowed to answer. Let's find out who's going to take the dub. And also, yes, rage state. All right, clicking the question in 3, 2, 1. Final question. Oh. What is mustard seed oh gosh. Oh, that was in sync. Oh gosh. UCSD showed up first in the chat for me, but all of you were right there. Okay, Valerie, take it away.
We lead with the hand up, not handout philosophy.
Okay.
Part of it.
Oh, are we doing the whole thing?
I don't know. Can anyone say the whole thing?
If anyone can say the whole thing, you'll take the dub. Checking the chats. Okay, if anyone can get the whole statement, you can take the dub. This offer expires in 10, 9. This is definitely not Jeopardy, but it's only game it up play. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Erica, let's go!
All right, I can try it.
All right, give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Okay, so MSP's mission statement is guided by hand up, not handout philosophy, and connecting unsheltered individuals to grassroots organizations and connecting others to volunteer case management, something like that.
Oh, you did so well. You did so, like 80% of it. You got 80% of it. All right. Oh, Bailey's calling to give you the point. I will let you all choose because I don't want to seem biased, seeing as Erica is on my team. So
Can anyone say it better than that?
Yeah. Does anyone have more of it? Give it to Erica. She's a fundraising queen. She is. Oh, Avisha, you did post earlier. Do you want to give it a shot?
I can try.
All right, let's see it.
Mustard Seed Project is guided by hand up, not hand out philosophy, and not handout philosophy, and it's to connect unsheltered and low income individuals through low income individuals to programs through grassroots organizations, outreach, and I think volunteer case management.
Okay, you get 98% because you missed like I think 2 words. I was reading the statement while you were saying it. Erica, great effort. Valerie, great effort. But we're gonna have to give this one to Avisha, which means UCR takes the dub, which I know is not just UCR, is UCR and UCSB take the dub in this wonderful, because we did raise the final question to be 2,500 points. So in case you all don't know, just to reiterate, Mustard Seed Project's mission is guided by a hand up, not hand out philosophy. We want to connect unsheltered and low income individuals to services and programs through grassroots organization, relationship-based outreach, and volunteer case management. All right, let me stop screen sharing for a second to get back to the other PowerPoint. Also, big round of applause to everyone who played. Thank you so much. It means a lot to us. We really wanted you all to play, so thank you, thank you. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. All right, we are on to the very end. Thank you all so much for being here and sitting with us. I know it's been a hot second, so thank you. And without further ado, let's get into our closing words. I believe, Matthew, you're starting us off?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So yeah, hello everyone. My name is Matthew Tay. I am a oh my gosh, I forget what I am sometimes. I'm actually a medical student at University of Rochester. I'm in my first year. So I'm a freshman, like potentially some of you, actually no, not some of you guys. Year hasn't started for a lot of you guys. But just like you guys, I was part of the Must Receive project for 3 years. I graduated back in 2018. I was one of like the first members when the project was started up. So kind of seeing like how far you guys have grown, as well as seeing all these new things and new changes that you guys are bringing to the program is actually really cool to see. I think Must Receive project started with just a few members. I think Christian has, like this has been beat down like a horse, but starting the project started off with very few members at the beginning. But now you guys have like a ton of members at multiple different chapters. And yeah, for these closing words, I just kind of wanted to, I know you guys have been here for like, I think almost 3 hours. So just to keep it short, just wanted to encourage you guys, give you a little perspective on what you guys are doing. And the reason why Must Receive project, one, congrats to, board members for this year, by the way, a little late, but, and for the general members, also congrats to you, because you guys get to be part of a project that really does good work. Like, I think Must Receive project does, I think one of the most noble things that you can do as an undergrad student. What I mean by that is that homeless outreach is difficult. I don't think the reason why you don't see a lot of people doing it is because it's hard. Like, there's a lot of challenges. Like you guys were discussing earlier, there's a lot of barriers that not only homeless individuals face, but also what you guys as students face when you guys are trying to tackle these challenges, when you guys are trying to get them help, but can't do it for whatever reason, whether that be bureaucratic reasons, policies, legal issues, things like that. I think moving forward though, Must Receive project is super hands-on. The things that you guys do is very direct. Like, you guys aren't in the back, kind of running the back end of, I mean, you guys do run back end things, but for the most part, the entire point of this organization is to be direct, to be essentially to be the bridge between these individuals and a better life, essentially. And with being so hands-on, the reason why we do it is because if you're not hands-on, you're not going to get to know these individuals and what they actually do need. So kind of relating this, I can only give you guys medical school references because that's just what I've been barraged with recently. But even with patients, we say that you don't see doctors treating patients just by over paper, right? Like, you don't just hear them like saying like, oh, here's what this patient has, blah 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 blah, and the doctor doesn't just go, okay, well, we'll give them this, right? The doctor actually talks with the patient, tries to get to know them, tries to see exactly what they need, and through that communication, through that relationship, these individuals maybe are more open to giving you information, to letting you treat them. And just with homeless individuals, they're in the same spot where a lot of times you may not get the information you need, they may not get the help they need if you're not out there actually talking with them, actually hearing them out, actually seeing what you can do with that. So with being hands-on, this is to say again, not many organizations do what Must Receive project does. I don't see a lot of organizations going to the streets like every week to talk with these individuals, to do case management, to do other things like that. Not a lot of organizations do that. Not to say that, I mean, not to hate on the other orgs, but a lot of times I do see that orgs, they do good fundraising, they do good educational. They have good educational outlets in terms of just educating the community, the students around them. But in terms of actual outreach, in terms of actually speaking with these individuals and connecting with them, I don't see a lot of orgs that do that, or do that to the extent that Must Receive project does. So with that, I think Mustard Seed Project, you guys do an awesome job with that, and so keep it up. And with leadership, I think most of you guys here are on board or are planning to be on board or are somewhat inspired to be on board. So with leadership, it's difficult, right? I think a lot of times we don't expect, especially with Mustard Seed, there's a lot of things that just change. There's a lot of things that just like you just have to adapt to on the spot, because whether it's with outreach, whether it's with finances, whatever that might be, even with COVID, you guys are still adapting, still trying to figure out what is the best way to get people out there, what's the best way to reach these individuals in a pandemic. And I think even with that, what you guys are doing as leaders is, you know, setting up future students, setting up this project for greater things to come. And like I said, even with what you guys are doing right now, like I was an undergrad student at one point. It was difficult for me. I was so oh wait, I forgot to say this. I was the president of the UCR chapter. So go UCR. You guys can do it, I believe. But I was the president of the UCR chapter during 2018, 2019. And for me, it was difficult too. I mean, I think there were a lot of challenges, a lot of things that we were still figuring out. And even now, you guys are still figuring things out. But you guys are an example of what homeless outreach could look like, not just at your universities, not just in the state of California, but you know, across the United States. And the reason I say that is because like the things that happen, the things that you guys are doing right now, those things will continue to last. Like those things have an impact. Like even now, even at, you know, a medical school, like people are still talking about homeless outreach in the context of health. Like how can we treat these patients? How can we get them into clinic or the hospitals? How can we get them the resources that they need, right? And that is so important because there are not a lot of people that, you know, I mean, in a sense, there are not a lot of people, if you took the entire like US population and put them against the number of people who conduct homeless outreach or care about this marginalized population, it's a very small percent. And with that, what you guys do is essentially multiplication, right? You guys are doing homeless outreach, you guys are setting yourselves up as well as setting up future students, and you guys are essentially going to branch out, go to wherever you guys go in your careers later on. But with that, you guys are taking the same skills, the same knowledge, the same attitude and behaviors that you've learned through homeless outreach and through caring for these people and taking them to wherever you go. I mean, even now, like I'm talking with like the homeless outreach org here at school, and they're even looking for people who have experience in homeless outreach and know better ways to reach this group. And so, you know, with that, even taking that a step further, like even in the US, you know, whether or not you guys decide to go into like politics or things like that or law, homelessness is a big thing there even. So wherever you go, homelessness is a big issue. Whatever you do, whether it's small, whether it's your local communities, or whether it's more on the macroscopic scale, homelessness will continue to be an issue. But where you stand in that is ultimately up to you, right? And with that, with all of you guys here, you guys are making a big difference right now, and that difference will continue to show even in the students you continue to train, the students you invest in, as well as the people that you even talk to or connect with later on, whether that's in homeless outreach or in your career. So yeah, with that said, you guys will do an awesome job at outreach this year. I know it's hard. I know a lot of things to figure out for the board, but at the end of the day, I know you guys will be successful. So with that said, though, I'll pass it off to, I think, Julia or Christian. One of you guys will continue. So
actually, I believe the next step is Casey.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you so much, Matthew.
Thanks, Julia. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pumped right now. We have a long weekend, started off with this conference, had a killer Jeopardy game. So thank you for everyone still here. If you're here, you're already my favorite, but don't tell other chapters that. But to start off, I do want to go back to this thing I heard on my very first training when I had Cecily as my president and Rose was on board. I just got to see so many cool people, meet so many people. Someone said, I believe his name was Sam, said he joined MSP because he thinks that the world is lacking in love. And so he wanted to find a way to put love back into the world. And whenever anyone asks me why I continue to be in this organization and serve the community, I think back to that, and it's my mantra. So I think it's great that everyone's here. Thank you for being here. Have a safe weekend, and I hope you all continue to have your dedication for this organization, because I've graduated and I love to continue to work with this. But I'll let Julia close us off.
Okay, big round of applause to every single person who made this conference happen, including you all. We wouldn't be able to do this if you didn't show up. So big round of applause to every single one of you. I just want to let you know that whether your actions are big or whether they are small, we see them. They are seen and they are like acknowledged, and I cannot begin expressing the amount of appreciation that I have for each and every one of you. You all just came to a collaborative that lasted 3 hours, and you sat through it and you participated and listened and learned. And that's what I love about the Mustard Seed Project, is every single individual involved is genuinely passionate about making a greater change. And with that being said, I don't want to take up too much of your time. On this page, we do have our socials. Feel free to give us a follow. And that QR code goes to our Classy page, which you've heard so much about. And with that being said, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the work that you do and will continue to do. And have a great long weekend. Thank you.